Kenyan coffee is my jam lately, and this is from Verve Coffee Roasters out of Santa Cruz and now LA, California. And actually, I think they're coming to San Francisco too, so that's cool. But my fiance picked up a bag when she was back in Santa Cruz visiting our alma mater at UC Santa Cruz, and this is the Karinga from Kenya. It's wet processed. It's from the Thika region, and the cultivar is SL28 and SL34, which is very common in Kenya. And tasting notes are tangerine, fruit punch, luminous, which is an adjective, I believe. So first thing I should say about this coffee as I show you the beans is that it has quite a delicious aroma. Really reminds me of the Kenyan gachata that I reviewed last year from Case, like that chocolate raspberry smack you in the face. This is such a good aroma. Why can't the coffee taste as good as this aroma, kind of aroma? And that's a look at the beans. Hopefully you can see that. So SL28 and SL34, I'll tell you more about that on the written review itself, because frankly my coffee history and understanding of varieties is not up to speed unless I'm cheating and looking at notes and trying to put it in my own words and writing. But some point in the future, maybe I'll be able to articulate the significance of that. But let's get into the tasting notes that I picked up across different brew methods. Just like with the Ethiopian that I reviewed from Verve, I did take a lot of notes on this, and I like this one better. And these are actually my two favorite regions, so Vero picked very well here. I love Kenyan and Ethiopian coffees, and I think it used to be that Ethiopian coffees were my favorite, but now it's shifting towards Kenya. And here were some of the tasting notes I picked up. So I brewed with a Chemex initially. That was my first brew, and it came out really nice. It was tangerine, just like they wrote on the bag, milk chocolate, very buttery like the Aroma, and just overall very good. It did take me about 5 minutes total brew time, but it was obviously working because coffee tasted good. So if you're in the mindset of, oh, I have to brew at 3.5 minutes, or between 3 and 5 minutes, or 3 minutes and 15 seconds, whoever tells you those things is frankly, I don't want to say lying to you, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter how long it takes you to brew the coffee. If it tastes good, even if it took 20 minutes to brew it, then you should repeat that process. So this is 5 minutes and very nice. So I think a coffee like this, a light roast like this, benefits from longer brew times. That seemed to be the pattern I was getting. So then I switched to an Aeropress, and it was definitely under extracted. Boring was the note I wrote. So what I think happened there is I was house sitting and using an inferior grinder, still a burr grinder, but not the one that I use at home. So I was thinking that maybe that had a big impact on the under extraction, but who knows. I actually moved on to an inverted Aeropress in the subsequent pour. And one of the notes I wrote down here was Salsa Verde, kind of like that tomatillo salsa from your favorite taqueria. It was still sour, but there were also floral and cinnamon notes all of a sudden. So it was getting better. I think that because I had it inverted and allowed it to steep a little bit longer, I was able to get the extraction closer to the way it was supposed to be. And then I kept going with the Aeropress. You know, I was still house sitting, so that's all I had access to. Floral tangerine notes. And ultimately, I was getting better with the Aeropress along the way. I kept getting finer with the grind. The final brew I had with the Aeropress was very fruity, and it had kind of a red wine body and flavor. Then I went back to the Chemex. This time it wasn't just fruity, it had a smokiness to it, so more balance. I also actually brewed with the French press for the first time in a very long time, and had nice body as you would expect from French press, and was also very fruity. And then I did brew with a new coffee maker I'm testing called a Aeropress. It's basically a pour over dripper with a very fine mesh built-in filter. Very fine. And it kind of reminded me of the way mocha pot coffee tastes. So it had these kind of woody notes to it and a slight butterscotch flavor. And finally I brewed with the Kalita Wave, and cinnamon and red wine were the notes I was picking up. So overall, I thought this was a pretty complex coffee. It isn't my favorite Kenyan of those that I've had. I've had some really good Kenyans in the last year, but this was up there. I mean, it's just another reason that I'm falling more in love with this region. The coffee is just so good, and I would recommend this one if you happen to stop at a Verve, if you're ever in LA. I know that these guys have good distribution online. They're available through Misto Box. I'll link to that below. I've got a referral link where you get $10 off your first shipment, and I'll also get $10 credit. So it's like buying me a coffee, and it's buying you a coffee. We all win. So I know that they supply Verve coffee, and they're probably available through a whole bunch of other subscription services. Really cool roasters these guys are, and spoke like Yoda there. And I don't know much about the producers or the region, but all that information will be in the written review, which I'll link to in the description. So in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you like this coffee review and want more coffee reviews, coffee maker reviews, and other coffee stuff, who knows what's going to be here in the future, subscribe to the channel. Got new videos every single week. So thanks so much for watching, and once again, that was Verve Karinga Kenya, or Kenya Karinga, or whatever.